An October to remember, baby! Yeah! Yes! I knew we were going to make it. It was only a matter of time. But when you clinch it, you pop the beer, you pop the champagne, and we're going to the playoffs. I love that word. I love that word. Playoffs. I love going to them. Fantasy football, real football, basketball. I saw that from Dale Ryder yesterday. Great nugget from Dave. First time since 1995 that in a calendar year, the Guardians, Indians, Cavs, and Browns have all made the playoffs. Ryan's never seen that before in his life. Ryan has never seen that before in his life.
Very true.
There was a long stretch where we knew the Guardians and the Cavs were going. Browns were always the one kind of, maybe not right there, but we get an October to remember because your Cleveland Guardians are going to the playoffs. I'm not done, man. I want the Central. What is it, 3 games that we need? Magic number is 3 for the AL Central. And you pop the champagne, I'm all for that. I get it. It might be a little slow day out there in St. Louis tonight. I'm sure they delayed the plane a couple hours. Like, let the guys enjoy it, get a nice nap on the flight. Might be a slow day today against the Cardinals, but still an amazing season for the Guardians. I'm not done yet. Still want to get to the Central. We'll get to that coming up a little bit later. I want to go back to the preseason, and I've got all the stats and the projections, frankly, about how unlikely it was that the Guardians are going to make the playoffs, let alone potentially and probably, I hope, win the division. We'll get to that with plenty of baseball. Of course, it's a football Friday, so we got our NFL picks coming up. We got the Browns, the Giants. That line has moved, Ryan.
What's it at?
6.5.
That's what I had it at.
I had it at 6.
Week. I'm thinking of the Jets game last night.
The Jets game, yeah. We'll get to that in a little bit. Recap on that butt whooping last night. But we got it at 6.5, so maybe some coming on the Giants. We'll get ready to go for that. Good news on Jack Conklin, 2 full practices. I think we're lining up for him to be back out there. We'll dive into the Friday report card. We'll get our wagers for the weekend as well. And I actually have a really interesting article from ESPN. Do you think of the Browns as a top analytic team? I feel like that word gets used so much about analytics and going for it. Well, they did a survey across the NFL, 22 execs from Seth Walder, on who is the most analytic team in the NFL. I'll tell you where the Browns came out on that. We'll get ready to go for the Giants and Danny Dimes. We'll get to time up. We got the grid. We'll finish it out with a little bit of our bracket and the morning update. We got it all in a beautiful playoff Friday right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. We made it, man. I am just so happy about this baseball team. There's been ups and downs. There's been rough stretches. There's been unsung heroes. And you are here. You have clinched. I'm not done yet, though. I'm not done yet. I want that Central. I think they'll get it. Close this thing on out. Get that bye. Let's shake it up, man. Let's shake some stuff up. And I really think as we get ready to go for the playoffs, and we sent the clip out yesterday, me talking about Stephen Vogt getting on the horn and calling Terry Francona. And I think a lot of what we have seen with Vogt this year is very reminiscent of Terry Francona, right? He has set this culture. He's picked it right back up. He's made, again, I got to tell you, Ryan, on grading just Stephen Vogt for this season, I can't look at too many, like, okay, a start here or there. Oh, you kept Bybee in for 2 pitchers or 2 batters too long. That kind of stuff. Dude, his bullpen usage has been amazing. I've been a big fan of some of the lineups that he's put out there. And I know, again, there's analytics coming back down. Say, hey, we think this lineup works for today and things like that. But the job he's done, the resiliency of this team to fight through some tough times and some tough stretches to really come back to, are they playing their best baseball right now? I don't think so. And that's okay because I want them to, but like I think they see the big picture. And I got to tell you, I think yesterday and really the day before too, those were games that I felt like they played like playoff games. You know what I mean? Like they wanted to get those wins, and they did. Now we enter, and I get it, that we're still not going to be the favorites, especially with that Shohei guy. Good Lord.
Yeah, he's all right.
Holy God. We'll talk about him in a little bit. But even in the AL, is it not a little bit of a cluster right now? I know I can say that other word, but I won't. You can if you want, right?
No.
No. Too early on a Friday. It's a bit of a cluster right now where you don't, and again, even the Dodgers, they're battling all those injuries with their starting pitching. Philly's got their problem. But again, in the AL, do you look at the Yankees as some juggernaut, especially now Juan Soto goes sliding into the right field wall? He's getting precautionary x-rays. Dude, I'm going to keep finding this path. I'm going to keep finding this path for the Guardians to make the World Series. And I still feel like they're going to. I really do. And it's more about, yes, them, but it's just like it's muddled right now. It's all muddied up, and that helps us. The Orioles aren't some world beater right now. And I know the Astros, I think all of a sudden the Astros have picked up a lot of steam for a lot of people, pointing to them and saying like, man, they finally got to put together. All right, let's see what happens when the playoffs roll around. And that's how much this can change. And I think with as experienced as us fans are with the playoffs, to know, dude, this is such a different animal. This is so different than the regular season. When you're playing just to get 4 wins, when you're playing that your pitchers have extra days off, when you're playing, in our case, with the best bullpen in baseball, that changes so much. Home field, all that. We've been one of the better teams at home in the regular season. That stuff just, I think, all lends towards helping the Guardians make the run that I hope they make. And it's like, it's so funny because I go back and I searched this up this morning, okay? You want to go back to the beginning of the regular season? Playoff odds from Fangraphs gave the Guardians a 33% chance to make the playoffs, a 21% chance to win the division. And we are about to do both of those things. One here, actually, one of the ones they got the most not wrong, Fangraphs only gave the Royals a 12% chance of making the playoffs.
Well, yeah, they lost over 100 games last year.
Right, and look at them. They gave the Twins 64% and gave them a 53% chance to win the division, and they ain't doing that, okay? They were right on about the Yankees. They actually only gave the Orioles a 50% chance to make the playoffs, and they're going to go. Now I go over to ESPN, and this, again, was preseason, spring training, before the season even started. They ranked the Guardians 20th in baseball. We will finish this season no lower than 5th. There's no way we can be lower than 5th, right? In all of baseball.
Yeah, right now we're 4th if you're basing this off of overall record.
Right. Projected win total from ESPN was 80 and 82. We're going for our 90th win tonight with 10 games to go? So over that. Then here's their write-up. And they talk about what has changed most since this prior season. They say Cleveland's success will ride on a talented rotation that is expected to feature Shane Bieber, Tristan McKenzie, Logan Allen, and Tanner Bybee. Only one of those guys was the one that stepped up. Offensively, the lineup could use some more punch in the outfield. John Kenzie Noel, thank you. But there's promise with Jose Ramirez. They say the most likely award winner was Jose for the MVP. I think it was, I guess they don't really count that, reliever award for Class A. But here's the interesting thing that they wrote up on ESPN before the season about the Guardians of how can they become a big surprise like they have. What ESPN said, they finished last in slugging percentage a year ago. I'm sorry, fifth to last in slugging percentage. They only accumulated 166 home runs between the year prior and 2023. That was second worst in baseball, only to the Tigers. It's hard to compete in this era without the benefit of home runs, and the front office didn't do much this offseason to help do that, but they're going to look to Jose, Josh, and Bo Naylor to carry a heavy burden. So when I look at stats, and I'm going to try to do this quick here, on team home runs, team batting, baseball. So we're only 20th in team average? It's kind of crazy. Home runs hit this season. The Yankees are number 1. Ryan, we're still only 13th at 175. So it's not like that prediction really all came that true. And then a bold prediction from David Schoenfield before the season. He said the Naylor brothers will combine for 50 home runs. He said 27 from Josh and 24 from Bo Naylor. I think we're a little off on that, are we not? What's Josh have? Jose's got 35. Hang on. And again, it was a bold prediction. I'm not ripping David Schoenfield for that. It was a bold prediction. Josh has 31. Bo's got 12. So he got kind of close. And I guess there's still time to go to get closer to that. But I just wanted to go back and look to see about where Fangraphs or ESPN had it. They had about a 1-in-3 shot. It was about 30% that they were going to make the playoffs, and we clinched it yesterday. What a great season so far. But I'm not done. I'm not done. And I know you're not either. I want the Central. I want the bye, and we'll shake this up a little bit once we get to the playoffs. But I'll never sell it short, man. Playoffs are a glorious word. I already was on Fanatics ordering my playoff T-shirt. I couldn't get the one that had the Guardians logo on it, though, man. There's something about that logo with the baseball and the G. I had to get the one with the C on it. It's a good shirt, though. But we're here. We made it. It's awesome. Enjoy the ride. Another one tonight with Lively on the Hill. We'll get to our wagers on that a little bit later as well. But what a season for the Guardians, and it's not over yet. Already got people buying tickets already. They already had the shirts out, ready to go, and it's exciting stuff with the Guardians. I'm feeling really good about the Browns this weekend, too.
Yeah.
I'm feeling really good about them. Now, that line has moved to 6.5. But when I look at this Giants team, and understanding, yes, they are 0-2. Yeah, they had a closer game against Washington. But it's funny, as I was getting ready for this, to not maybe sleep on the offense of the New York Giants. So Danny Dimes, just 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He has been sacked 6 times through just 2 games. And I know Miles is battling the foot injury. Ryan, little wager on the side might be, pick somebody else for a sack.
Yeah.
Give me a Zadarius Smith sack. Usually they don't do the D-tags. I mean, I think it depends on the book that you use. But you might be really good off to go ahead and get a sack from somebody else out there. He's only averaging $182 through the air. But here's the thing. All of his passes are going to just 2 guys. Malik Neighbors has 25 targets through 2 games, and Wan'Dale Robinson has 16. We have 3 corners. And I know Denzel's battling a shoulder injury. I'm going to imagine you're going to put Denzel and Malik Neighbors as much as you can. You put MJ or Greg Newsome on Wan'Dale Robinson, shut them down. Now, Malik has been great. He's averaging almost 100 yards through 2 games. He only has the 1 touchdown. He is a dog. He's pretty good, man. And Singletary, the running back, has 66 yards per game through the first 2. What Kevin Stefanski talked a lot about this week is a point of emphasis for me as well about Danny Dimes running. Okay, through 2 games, he's averaged just 24 yards, but he's picked up 3 first downs with runs, and one of those was a long run to pick it up. And I look at that and I say, don't let him get back to that. I think when Danny Dimes got that contract and when everybody was, I guess, excited about him, one of the things was he was able to run and he was able to pick up first downs. And I look specifically on the offense and I say, if you can keep him in the pocket, he's not going to be able to complete these passes. And I'm not trying to crap necessarily on the secondary for the Commanders or, that Viking games where they got shellacked. But even that the Commanders game, and they looked a little bit better. They don't have the corners that we do. I don't know if I don't say no anybody. There's really good corner rooms. But I'm going to look at that and say that is key number 1. As we run through a lot of the keys, and we'll do that once we get to the Friday report card. Lock those guys down. They've got nobody else. They do not have an elite tight end to beat you. I don't think they have an offensive line that's going to be able to push you around to run the football. I look at this game, and we'll talk about our offense versus their defense here in a second as well. But I do look at it and I say, this is a game I don't know if the Giants crack double digits. And that's crazy, and that's ballsy of me to say.
I don't really think it is ballsy.
Like, that is going to be the key number one for this game for me on Sunday. I want us to kick their ass on the defensive side of the football. Again, I'm not saying that Malik Neighbors doesn't scare me, and I'm not saying that Danny Dimes, he's kind of washed, but I just don't want him to recreate any of that glory that he had in the past. I'm saying, I'll tell you this, they're not reaching 17. There is no way that I think the Giants are reaching 17 points. If we play the way that we're supposed to, they ain't reaching 17 points on Sunday.
Shave your beard.
No, well, I mean, it's already short enough. Like borderline shaved. It's already short enough.
I just want to see you with a naked face.
Do I bring the stash back for No Shave November?
Well, I'm trying, but I look pretty prepubescent.
Well, there's always an awkward stage of growing the stash when you don't have anything else. How's it look? It looks pretty good. Not really. It's coming in. It's fine. I like a ratty stash. I think ratty stashes are extremely, not ironic, but like, I just think they're hilarious. So I'm all in for it. But again, with the Giants, this is going to be a defensive game for the Browns 100%. Then you flip over to the offense. I know we've talked a lot this week about Amari Cooper and getting set back in this offense, but I look at this game too about the evolution again of Deshaun Watson. And I look at this where that defense gave up 21 points to the Commanders, which again, okay, fine. Gave up 28 to the upstart Vikings on that. But again, Darnold only threw for 208 in that game. And for the Commanders, Jaden Daniels, 226, but he did not throw a touchdown. So you can look at, 2 games, I'm only giving up 1 passing touchdown. I also like Deshaun Watson, multiple passing touchdowns in this game. And you look at the secondary, PFF grades are not kind to that secondary for the Giants. Deonte Banks, their former first round pick, Ryan, he's grading as the 79th best corner in football. Cordell Float, their other one, he's a little better. He's the 74th ranked one. Safeties are fine line. Their presence is all the D-line. Their presence is all the D-line, which again, now that you're going to get Jack Conklin back, I'm just going to say he's going to play. How could he not? He went through 2 full practices. It is time. He's going to be back. DeJuan Jones fighting through his injury. Hold that D-line. And eat this on up, man. Eat this on up for Deshaun Watson. So a couple things I like again. I like 2 touchdowns for Watson in this game. And I didn't look this up.
2 throwing touchdowns?
Yeah, I do. All
right.
You want a really, really good one for me? This is a little out there, if you will. But I want to see if I can find this real quick. Okay, Commanders. I'm looking at, I just want to find this thing. Okay, that's what I thought. I want to make sure I go over here. I looked this up prior. I should have written it down, but it's my fault. Okay. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Ready. The leading receiver in the game last week for the Commanders, Zach Ertz.
Yep. 56 yards?
Correct.
Wow. Is that on the money?
Yeah.
Right. Dude, I'm a genius.
Then
I didn't even look at that today.
You go back to the Minnesota. And again, I understand these are predicated on the offenses too, but I'm just talking about what the defense gave them. Yes, you had Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison go off. Do you know the next guy on that list? Jordan Oliver. For the Vikings, game 1 against the Giants. So again, Addison and Justin Jefferson. But then it went Josh Oliver. Then it went Ty Chandler, the running back. Then it went Aaron Jones, running back. Then it went Johnny Munt, who's a tight end with multiple receptions. What I'm getting at here is, yeah, I could look at Jerry Jeudy, and certainly I think they're going to throw to Amari Cooper. Bro, I might like me a little Jordan Akins anytime touchdown for this game coming up. Or out of the backfield, a little Jerome Ford. Now, again, just take Ford anytime touchdown. I think that's a pretty solid bet for Sunday. But one of the things I was looking at is, again, that first game where, it's Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. They're going to throw the ball to them. And I think the Commanders' offense is working through Jaden Daniels, and they're trying to figure everything out for him. But it really stuck out to me that Ertz was their leading receiver in that game. Even though Terry McLaurin had 6 grabs for 22 yards, and again, that kind of goes back to the shorter stuff maybe, but even Austin Eckler had 3 receptions for 47 yards last week against the Giants. I'm going to look a little on the periphery here. I'm going to look not just to Judy and Cooper. I'd like maybe Jordan Akins to score a touchdown on Sunday. And maybe even one of the backs out of the backfield. That's another thing for our offense versus their defense that I'm really kind of circling on this game. And again, just talking about long shot bets, I wouldn't put more than $2 on that. What do you think you can get on that? Jordan Akins anytime touchdown.
I would say it's probably plus 800.
I thought it'd be longer than that.
No, I don't think so. I mean,
sorry, they had to get close for my face recognition. They just want to see my pretty mug. Let's tell you.
Maybe it will be plus 1,000.
Same game. Okay. Touchdown scores.
I mean,
oh no, you're not too bad. Plus 240. I thought it'd been long. Anytime plus 240 for Jordan Akins. Anytime.
That should be higher.
So you want it? Here we go. Jerome Ford anytime plus 110. Devin Singletary plus 150. Cooper plus 162, as is Deontay Foreman. Malik Neighbors is plus 210 for an anytime touchdown. Watson rushing 200. Judy 200. They have David Njoku on here, which is not going to happen. Jordan Akins plus 240. Elijah Moore plus 275.
Yeah.
Seth Tillman, James Prochet is not scoring a touchdown. So, I thought it'd been longer than that, man. I thought it'd been longer.
I've been pretty hot on the first touchdowns. That's 2 in a row for me.
What are you feeling? Let's not keep secrets around here, Ryan. What are you feeling?
I haven't thought about that game, our game yet. First touchdown. I mean, like, I'm gonna obviously bet it's gonna be the Browns, but
that's another thing for Sunday. I'm usually for kicking the ball away. I take it and go down and score, man. Go down and score. Foreman to steal one? Cooper?
First touchdown.
Wouldn't that be a little good juju for Amari Cooper? First touchdown score?
Ford. It'll be Ford.
All right, plus 550 for Jerome Ford. First
It'll be Ford,
touchdown
Ford.
score.
Be Jerome.
Amari is plus 800 on that. Or Jerry plus 1,000. Kind of like that on Jerry Judy, to be honest with you. Plus 1,000 just for the odds there. I'm just sprinkle some dollar bets around here. We'll see how it goes.
There you go.
But again, I think there's going to be some other opportunities for the Browns against the Giants, and especially in a defense where, okay, last week, 215 given up on the ground, $133 to Brian Robinson. And then week 1 against the Vikings, they gave up only 111, but they gave up 94 to Aaron Jones. So there's 2 leading backs that the Giants have faced, $133 and 94. Touchdown for Aaron Jones, no touchdown for Brian Robinson. I don't see much. And I'm going in this game as respectful as I can, even though it doesn't quite sound that way. They should be able to push this around, man. They should be able to do this. I see our defense. You lock down Malik. I think you're good. And our offense, watch the other guys to get onto it and get ready to go. All right, before we get to the Friday report card, I wanted to get to this article because I found it very interesting on an analytics survey out of the NFL. So Seth Walder, who does a lot of ESPN analytics, he's a great follow. He's really good at it. Do you think analytics, I mean, you've been a Browns fan for a while now, Ryan. I feel like that word has just gotten like, it's almost a dirty word. Like, people hate it in this town because when you go for it on 4th down, you don't get it, they scream freaking analytics, right? When these things happen, like, it's just something easy for people to grab onto and instantly say it's a negative thing. When in reality, everybody in the league uses it. Everybody subscribes to PFF and all that. But I feel like there is maybe a misnomer about how much the Browns use analytics or not. But do you get what I'm saying? Like, would you agree with me that the analytics words with the Cleveland Browns, it's a real lightning rod of a word when it comes to this team?
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to use analytics and then another thing to use your eyes. And I think the teams that are best at using analytics are able to combine both, right? Because, I mean, the analytics are numbers and they're good numbers. Like they're there for a reason, right? But at the same time, you know your players I'm trying to explain this in a better way.
I know where you're going because it's what it's meant to be. When Kevin Stefanski holds up his chart, his Denny's menu, they always make fun of, right? And he's calling all these plays. There is somebody else who's got a chart about going forward or not. And on that chart, it's 4th and 4 from this yard line. It's 4th and 7 from this yard line, whatever. What you then have to do is meld that into they've been kicking our ass.
I was going to say, because there's like the analytics are there, but they're not accounting for if your defense is playing lights out.
Right. Or we need to run the ball here, but they've been stuffing our run. Or like right, 100%. This has been a close game that a field goal does a lot for you here. You know what I mean? Like that's where people, I think, fail to get that bridge. And it's still a decision that Kevin Stefanski is making. Even though he gets radioed in his ear that says, Kevin, we think we should go for it here.
That sounded cool.
Didn't it? Kevin, it's 4th and 4. It says to go for it. Over. Brian, why would I need to say over?
Over.
By the way, I don't want to be your friend when this is over. When this is what, Brian? You got to finish your sentence. I have to say over even if the sentence ends in the word over? Even if the sentence ends in what, Brian? If you know Family Guy. Yeah. It's not like he goes down and says, yep, go for it. Here we are. Let's go. And they do that. He's got to work through all of that to get it figured out. And there's analytics set up to get the game plan ready to go and all that kind of stuff. So with all that, here's what Seth Walder did. He sent out a survey to all 32 teams. And all he asked for was one vote of who they think the most analytically driven team in the NFL is. He got responses from 22 teams.
Okay.
So 22 is the amount of votes in this. Which, again, you have to take out for your own team, I guess. You can't vote for yourself. So, in a way, 21 votes. Which team do you think is the most analytic in football?
Am I right in assuming it belongs to a younger head coach?
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think of the Shanahans, the McVays. But I don't know.
Do you want to know a funny thing about both of those teams that you just said?
Yeah.
They didn't get a vote.
Okay. So then I clearly have no idea.
He's a younger guy, but he's got some gray in that beard.
Kev?
They got 10 of the 21 votes. The Browns are by far the most analytically driven team in the NFL.
All right. I mean,
they got half of the votes in this. Which team is the most analytically advanced? Browns, 10 of 21 votes. Which team produces the highest level of analytic work? Browns got 9 votes. Which team incorporates analytics the most into its decision-making? 8 of 21 votes for the Cleveland Browns. By far the most analytically driven team. The write-up. It wasn't simply that the Browns were just named the most analytically advanced. They swept all 3 categories by a wide margin. And a member of another AFC team, I just think they're so far ahead in terms of what they have on their staff. Their data collection is advanced. Their infrastructure they've built over the past decade has put them ahead of the rest of the league. Last year when they did this, Cleveland was only narrowly voted as the most analytic, only slightly ahead of the Eagles. And now it's an even wider margin. Now, again, you got to take all this with a grain of salt because it's not just that they do all of this, it's the actual implementation of it. I could give you all of the stuff, but it's how do you work it into the game? How are you actually applying it? And eventually, yes, are there just gut feeling decisions that get changed on the game? But the analytics got to be there for a reason. We do trends, we do stats. They're there to tell you what the story is. Now, again, what was last night on Thursday Night Football? The Patriots, over a history, have smoked the Jets. And if I just went off of trends, I'd be out money this morning. But I'm not, because you looked at it and you go, there's no way they're winning that football game. So there are changes. But when they get it that into it, when they have dedicated people that jump into it, there's got to be a story there. There's got to be something that can help the Cleveland Browns. Now, again, you still got to use it and put it on the field. But, Ryan, I actually feel good about this. Do you want to be the worst analytic team in football? No. Does it help for wins? I don't know. I hope so. There's no way that this is a bad thing, right? People want to look at it and say, oh, they get too analytic and they get tied into the gotta go for it here. You know, they just think that they hear that and they instantly got to do it. It's not that way. It's not quite that black and white. There's a lot of gray to it on the interpretation of that too. But I just thought that was interesting. It was by and far the Cleveland Browns are the most analytically driven team.
Yeah, that is interesting. I think the reason a lot of people kind of have a bad connotation with analytics is because it's very, as a viewer, as a watcher of the Browns, it's very in the moment, right? But these analytics, they're over what's best for the span of a game, and that's not necessarily easy to track in the moment as a fan watching.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. It's like us, the fans, I don't care about anything else other than wins. I don't care about anything besides picking up first downs and moving down the field and all that kind of stuff. But it's I just think it's a powerful tool that they have.
And it's very, I don't know if they're necessarily analytically driven based on your opponent, because, for instance, you're not going to beat the Chiefs with field goals, but, for instance, the Giants coming to town, you can beat them with field goals.
Sure, and that's like, you know, again, I think we're boiling it down to just the one thing of like going forward on fourth down or not. I know like on the broadcast it pops up and it tells you to go or not. It's everything.
Yeah, it's,
you know,
even first down, second down. Yeah,
it's that. Look at this player over here. This guy can't stop this play, or they struggle against this. Like all of that gets factored in. When do you kick field goals? What's Dustin Hopkins' range? All that stuff factors. I just thought it was really interesting just how far and wide. That's got to translate to something, you would think, right? I know players and talent will be above all, but if you got talent and you got the smarts behind them, man, let's get rolling. I love very much. Speaking of getting smart, let's go to school. Friday report card.
Oh, I guess. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there you go. You worked very hard in putting it up there.
Oh, Siri's listening to me.
Oh, dude.
I don't know why she's
listening
doing
to
that.
me a little earlier this week, too. All right, let's get to it. The Friday report card. Little more even than we thought with the quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson, Danny Dimes, QBR in the same realm, completion percentage in the same realm, touchdown to interceptions. There we are. I'm thinking two TDs here for Deshaun this weekend. And, you know, it could also say in the same boat of guys that got paid, two different levels of getting paid, but got to prove that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, listen, Daniel Jones is not a good football quarterback. I think that's been proven. But then at the same time, I mean, the stats, like the winning isn't there translating. But I'm not going to come out here and say right now Deshaun Watson is definitively a better quarterback than Daniel Jones.
No, and I think it's like, could you imagine if you put Deshaun Watson on that Giants offense?
Right.
I don't think he'd be near as good, right? Because the Browns' offense is better. So they're asking a lot of Danny Dimes. They got rid of Saquon Barkley, who was everything. You know, Brian Dable, who we know well here in Cleveland, I actually think is a good offensive mind. I don't know about him as a head coach, but like they're trying to put this. Here's the thing. I'll tell you this. Both these teams are in the same boat of this. They're putting it on their quarterbacks. They have got to put it on their quarterbacks to say, yeah, we got some nice players, but this is still like every other team. You drive this boat, man. Yep. You are the engine that makes this go. And they both can move with their feet. Both at times had high accuracy. It's just they're in a lull right now. And I think what could bail the Browns out a little bit more is they got that better offense. They're figuring things out with Deshaun Watson. But Danny Dimes ain't no world beater, man. There's no way. There's no way.
But who are you to get the nod to if you had to?
I mean, here's the thing. I go that of who would rather have playing quarterback for you? And my answer is Deshaun Watson.
That's fair.
You saw more of Watson in his short time last year than you did from Danny Dimes last year.
That's very fair.
You know, like that's when you add up the now again, year prior, Danny was great and he got all that money and that kind of stuff. If you ask me if I had to start my franchise today, if I'm picking Deshaun Watson or Danny Dimes, contract included, over there, Deshaun Watson. Going the wrong way.
Yeah,
but
you are going
Deshaun Watson's the guy I want. I'll take him in this one. Next up, Ryan.
All right, fair enough.
Pretty good here.
Now,
head coach.
We could have gone clean sweep, but I refuse. I think it was too bad juju.
You think it's bad juju?
I do.
You think it's bad juju?
I gave him one. Which I could actually make an argument they deserve running back.
Yeah.
But we start with head coach, Matt. I don't think it's any debate. Kevin Stefanski is right now a better head coach than Brian Daboll. Both actually have won Coach of the Year. If you remember, Brian Daboll won it 1 year with the Giants his first year there. But I don't think there's necessarily any debate that Kevin Stefanski is a better head coach than Brian Daboll.
No, I agree with you. Two-time Coach of the Year. Even just on the systems that they want to run, I think there's more to be shown. Like Brian Daboll, even when he was in Buffalo, that was good. But as far as him as a head coach, he's had one good offensive season.
Yep.
Kevin Stefanski's had two.
Yep.
He's had two. And those have resulted in playoffs. You talk about just playoff berths, Coach of the Year, all that. It is very clear that Kevin Stefanski on this one. This is another one that is close.
Yes, this is similar to a lot of weeks that we do this, right? We might not necessarily have the same thing with the Cowboys. We might not necessarily have the best receiver right now because I do think even his rookie year, Malik Nabers.
I think Malik Nabers is the best receiver on the field.
But I mean, after that, you mentioned Wan'Dale Robinson is their wide receiver too. I don't think he's in the same stratosphere as Jerry Jeudy. I mean, you got Elijah Moore as well. They don't have much outside of Malik.
And a kind of a wash at tight end with Bellinger and Akins, which again would have been a nod for Njoku, but I'm happy he's not playing this weekend. It's close, but I will give the nod because again, Malik, and I think there's a gap. Is this the Amari Cooper breakout game? Is this the one that he comes on out and you say, yep, this is the guy, here we go? We'll see. But it is very clearly those two. Now, you also think about Darius Slayton, who's their other third receiver, because technically Wan'Dale Robinson is their slot guy.
Yeah.
And he makes a lot there. But just on PFF, Nabers is the 16th rated wide receiver in the NFL. Robinson 37th. Darius Slayton is 77th. So I think if you shut down Robinson, you shut down Malik Nabers, they'll be off to a good point. And then they actually have Theo Johnson listed as their starting tight end.
Okay.
Bellinger's still there, though, right?
I think so, yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is. So we'll give the nod there to the Browns. To running back, I think it's fine with Devin Singletary because it is... Okay. I'm admitting this. Okay, don't yell at me.
Well, I'll probably agree with you.
Because it's very singular in what they do. It's just him. Stop. I said I was going to say it before I said it, all right?
I didn't know you were going down the lines
What
of
do
a
you
pun.
mean?
I thought you were just going to say something.
No.
I should have known better.
It's very individual. Is that better for you?
No, I like it singular.
Okay, it's very singular with Devin Singletary in this. They don't have two backs that they go to. It's either he runs it or Danny runs it. That's it. So it's just on Devin Singletary. I think we gave the nod here just because we don't like the Maloik on that, but I think him and Jerome Ford put on their blanket. And I frankly think when you also add Deontay Foreman in, this should be a Browns list, but again, we don't want to go all four. So.
Yeah, I mean, Devin Singletary has been, I guess, pretty much the epitome of an average running back. His time in Buffalo, he was okay. James Cook is obviously an upgrade there. And then, I mean, his time in New York is very short, obviously just 2 games, but last week averaged over 5.5 yards a carry. You could do whatever you want here. My reasoning was the Maloik. I don't want to go a clean sweep for the Browns.
Well, and the thing about Singletary, too, he is not grading well this year out of the backfield receiving the football. Running is fine. He's the 31st best running back in the NFL from PFF out of 48, though, so that's not all that great. But his passing grade, his receiving grade is only a 51, so he's not really going to be all that impactful out of the backfield in there. Again, slight odd. We could go certainly over to the Brown side on that. This one is no doubt because the Giants only have one guy, and that's Andrew Thomas. Yep. He is one of the best tackles in football. John Runyon is their left guard. John Michael Schmitz is their center. You have their right guard. Is it Eric Van Rotten? I think that's his first name. Van Rotten? I don't know why it won't load for me. I think that's it. And then their final guy is Jermaine Emelior on their right tackle. None of those guys are even in the top positions of their group as far as their groups go on PFF. Andrew Thomas is the best. I don't want to say the best lineman on the field, but he's up there. Yeah. It's him and a bunch of jacks.
It's Greg Van Rotten.
Greg Van Rotten. I don't know where I got Eric from. Greg Van Rotten. Something to watch there, which is really interesting on him because he is one of the worst run-blocking guards in football. And don't you want your guards to be those kind of road grader type of guys? Then you flip it over for John Michael Schmitz. He's a little bit better on that run, but I'm looking at the D tackles to say, there's your gap. Get in that, will be the A gap right there. Just push that on up. Get in the face of Schmitz and Van Rotten, and he'll be off to the race. As far as the tackles go, it'll be a great matchup between Andrew Thomas and Myles Garrett. And I tried to search for this real quick. I didn't see what they've done each other against the past. You know, they faced each other before. Thomas is an elite guy, but I look over to the other side, and it's kind of interesting that Ilmanor, I think his name, Jermaine Moore, I think his name, the right tackle. He's actually better in pass blocking than he is run blocking. So we talked about the 6 sacks that Danny Dimes has gotten. Let's get that pressure up the middle again. You're coming off your best game of the defensive line, not just miles in the edge, getting straight up the field. Let's do that. That's where I think a real opening is for the offensive line. You flip it over for the Browns. I think getting Jack Conklin back is going to be a huge boost.
Yeah, man.
With Teller, with Bitonio, with DeWine, certainly with Posick. O-line was not an issue here. This is clearly the Browns.
Yeah, man, I can't tell you how excited I am to get Conklin back. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't think you would necessarily need him to win a game against the Giants, but I go back and I look at plays last week against the Jaguars. There were a couple plays where James Hudson, if he gets his block, Deshaun has a 20-yard gain, maybe even a touchdown, and that's the difference in ball games.
Flip it over to the defense. Played better last week. Let's look at the Giants, though.
It's Kayvon Thibodeau, and then...
Well, Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence actually the best defensive lineman in football right now. Big Dex is what Deshaun Watson called him, going back to their Clemson days.
Brian Burns.
So Brian Burns is solid, and I'm a big Brian Burns fan. I really like that signing for them. And he's grading out just fine. Thibodeau's been limited this week with the shoulder injury. Now, we'll get to the injury report, I guess, if you want to run through it quick. They only had 4 guys on there. Nate McLeod with a knee. He's a DB. He ain't going to play. Isaiah Simmons, but it was a personal-related thing that he missed practice yesterday, but he should be good to go. And I mentioned Thibodeau. He's got the shoulder, but he's been limited. He will play. Thibodeau's been bad.
Yeah, no, he's not
really
lived
bad
up to where he was drafted. No way.
I mean, just specifically this year. And then you talk about their other guy, Elijah Chapman. Those 2 guys on the right side of your offensive line where they line up normally, go that way. Go that way, okay? Now, the problem is you got Lawrence and Burns on the other side, which, again, coming off the quarterback's blind side, that's why they're over there. But, again, getting Jack Conklin back, I think is going to help a lot. Watch the Browns to run a lot to that right side. Stay away from Lawrence, who, again, is not only just the number 1 ranked defensive tackle in football. He's got the 2nd best run defensive grade, 2nd best pass rush grade. So it's not like he's dominant in one area. He's stuffing the run. He's getting after the passer. Now, you could say run at him to get him tired and get him out of there. Stay away from him. Let Bitonio take care of him over there with Posick. I think we run a lot to the right in this game. That's just the D-line. Linebackers, Bobby Okereke, or didn't they say that that's not how you say his name? Okereke, I think maybe it is. I don't know.
Who knows?
I like him. I think he's a really solid linebacker. And then I mentioned Isaiah Simmons, who's been out this week of practice, but you assume he'll be back. He came over from Arizona after, he was drafted as that tweener guy. But, man, he could play safety and all that.
Mid-first round pick?
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. DBs are nothing to write home about. I mentioned Deonte Banks, not good. The guy to watch is Andrew Phillips. He is their slot corner, and he's a top 10 corner on PFF this year. Elijah Moore, Jerry Jeudy, those guys are going to be in the slot. Again, maybe opening things up here a little for Amari Cooper on this one.
How many snaps do you think Sed gets?
I don't know what's up with him.
I don't either.
And again, you've now had a week to know that David Bell's out, to change the game plan. Bro, it wouldn't shock me that out of nowhere, Darden or Prochet get more receiver reps than Sed Tillman. Something's stinking there. I don't know what it...
What would you think if Thrash gets more snaps than Sed Tillman?
Oh, God. Then we'd really just be what's... Then you got to start asking legit questions, what's going on here? What is up with Cedric Tillman? But again, as far as our receivers going to their defense, you got 3 solid receivers. They have 1 decent defensive, corner goes. Safety, not great. If I scroll back up, Pinnock, their 1 safety, is one of the worst graded ones. Newbin, their other one, Tyler Newbin, he's fine. But again, the thing about Newbin on that, his coverage grade is just a 61. And I'm sorry. His coverage grade is just a 58 on PFF this year from Tyler Newbin. So you got a lot of options there. What you're going to focus in on this. Do not let Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns wreck this game. Outside of that, you've got advantages beyond. We always talk about the two high safety things and over the middle. You know, it's going to be maybe a lower passing game. That's fine. Quick, that helps to not let Lawrence and Burns get up the field. We'll give the edge clearly to the Browns defense here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at this game. Every position, the Browns pretty much have the advantage, and you never want to take any game for granted, but this is the perfect opportunity for Deshaun Watson to get comfortable, because if you're not throwing it around the yard on these guys, Matt, I'm not sure there's many defenses that you're going to be able to.
No, and that's what I'm saying. That you're back at home, which helps again, too. I always am going to say that's going to help when you're back at home. A week to focus on some of the things, because you had positive things to take out of that game on Sunday to keep kind of unlocking Deshaun Watson. And I just, again, see a lot that's going to help them. Go to specialist. Graham Gano's out. Remember last week, Jamie Gillen, who we will see.
He missed the PAT.
He missed the PAT because Graham Gano pulled his hamstring. I don't even know who's kicking for the Giants. Right? Do we have any news on that?
I have not seen any news if there is.
Greg Joseph, former Brown, and Jude McTammany is in there to debate that. Because Graham Gano is injured. And again, we know Jamie Gillen from his time here. As far as the returners go, Eric Gray actually on kickoffs, they've actually had 7 kickoff returns through 2 games, which is a little crazy because a lot of teams are just blasting it through the end zone. And he's averaging 25 yards a return.
Do you think the Browns return a kickoff touchdown this year?
Yeah, I hope so. I would think so. I liked what I saw at Darden. I saw a little bit of Prochet. And then punts, they actually have sent Malik Neighbors back there for a couple. So we'll see. But actually, no, not that. No, not him. Wait a minute. They only had 1 punt return this year? That can't be right. That's it?
I mean, the defense is good.
They only have 1 punt return this year.
I mean, they gave
I guess they're kicking out of bounds or something, or the offense just giving it up. I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting stat there. All right. So we're through it. Browns got the big edge. Maybe we'll get to that pick a little bit later. But Ryan, 'tis the time. Our weekend slate. Let's go. We started off, buddy, Thursday Night Football. A win for Matt. Do you want the Jets? I was going to give you the Jets.
I bet the Jets. I thought they were going to win, but for the sake of the show, I said Pats. I was doing it until my curse fades, and maybe was the game that I needed.
Can't bet that. Can't bet that. All right. Last week, remember we did do a flip, by the way. So last week, I went 9, 6, and 1. Oh, no. I lost that. No. I went 8, 7, and 1 last week. Ryan went 6, 9, and 1 last week. Totals on the season. I am 19, 11, and 2. Ryan comes in with a solid 14.
That's not solid.
Make sure my math is math in here.
No,
14, 16, and 2.
That's rough.
Right?
Yep.
That math is math.
Got to get back on the horse this week.
19, 11, and 2 for me. Ryan is 14, 16, and 2. 0 for 1 to start, but that's all right. We'll turn it around. We'll start Chargers traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Steelers a home 1.5 point favorite over the upstart fighting Jim Harbaugh is there. Are the Steelers really that good?
See, what I need to know if Justin Herbert is playing or not.
Sounds like he is. Did you see that thing about Harbaugh? He told the team to not give him high fives coming off the field. Did we talk about that this week?
You told me that off air.
Jim Harbaugh's got a rule that his team is not allowed to give Justin Herbert high fives coming off the field because he broke his finger last year. All right, we'll see how it goes. One matchup to watch would certainly be TJ Watt getting back in Justin Herbert's face and making this pretty tough on the Chargers as they go. Here we go. Steelers, since the departure of Ben Roethlisberger, are 22-14-1 against the spread. That is the second most profitable against the spread team in that stretch. Another week and another one-score win last week when they beat the Falcons, technically 18-10. Then they won again 13-6 in week 2. They are 2-0 this season in one-score games. Last year, the Steelers were 9-2 in one-score games, the best mark in the NFL. And in fact, since 2020, they are 33-11 in one-score games, the best mark in the NFL in that stretch. So again, you almost want to take an alt here. Maybe if you want to say that if the Chargers are going to win, you think it'll be more than one score, but we'll see. Chargers last season were just 3-5 against the spread on the road, which break an 11-year streak of finishing above 500 against the spread on the road. Herbert in his career, though, is 19-13 against the spread on the road, including an impressive 9-3 mark in September and October against the spread. Hang on. I thought I was going to sneeze. I think I am going to sneeze. I can't help it.
Purple offense.
Yep. All right, we're good. I fought it off. Coming into this one, Chargers are just 3-8 against the spread their last 11 games, and they can't play Pittsburgh well. Chargers just 5 and...
Bless you.
Thank you. Oh, God. Chargers just 5-13 against the spread their last 18 games against Pittsburgh, and just 4-10 straight up in their last 14 games against Pittsburgh. Chargers are 6-3 against the spread their last 9 games in the month of September. Pittsburgh on a 5-1 against the spread streak in their last 6, including 5-1 straight up in their last 6. Pittsburgh last 7 games as a favorite, they are 5-2. They are a 1.5 point spread here. Every time I count Pittsburgh out, they do something to change it. This game screams the Chargers. Every ounce of this screams the Chargers until TJ Watt gets in the face of Justin Herbert and makes this a really, really tough game. I'm going to take Pittsburgh. I don't like it at all. Wow. I'm taking Pittsburgh. Ryan.
If Herbert plays, I think the Chargers definitely win. Now, it's tough. The Steelers do what? They're great at bringing opposing teams down to their level. And as good as their defense is, if Justin Fields continues to not turn the ball over, they're not going to lose many games. That's just how it goes in Pittsburgh. I have to go Chargers, assuming Justin Herbert plays. Right. He'll be by far the best quarterback they play.
I
can't, in good faith, take them over Justin Herbert.
Bears traveling to take on Indy. Anthony Richardson, Caleb Williams, 2 young quarterbacks duking it out here. And a couple of plays that you might like for this game is starting that. Number 1, the Bears have scored 21 more points in each of their games thus far. Then you talk about the Colts. They are averaging 6.7 yards per play. That is the highest mark. Wait a minute. Are the Colts 0-2?
Yeah.
They are.
They lost to the Texans.
That's
they lost
right.
to Malik Willis.
They say that is the highest mark for an 0-2 team since 2016. The Colts have held the ball, time of possession, for a total of just 39 minutes across their first 2 games. That is not very good. Through 2 games, Caleb Williams just 267 passing yards and no touchdowns, but his 4.0 yards per average is tied for the second lowest by a quarterback through 2 games with a minimum of 50 passing attempts since 1990. Only 1 quarterback was worse, and Caleb's 7.3 average depth of target is middle of the pack this season. Historically, the Colts have been a pretty good team weeks 2 through 4. They are 39-24 against the spread in games 2 through 4 in the season. That is the best in the NFL, even with 5 different head coaches running through it there, and we'll see. Bears are 2-0 against the spread, and they've only done that once since 2006, and that was the last time the Bears finished above 500. Other stats for this. Chicago is 6-2-1 against the spread their last 9 games, but they don't play the Colts that well. They're just 2-4 against the spread and straight up in their last 6 games against Indianapolis. Chicago, trash on the road. 3-12-1 against the spread their last 16 games on the road. Colts struggling. 1-4 against the spread their last 5. 1-4 straight up. 2-4 their last 6 when played on a Sunday. Indy a 1.5-point home favorite here. Ryan, I'll let you go first.
Well, if I have to continue to ride with my Colts win the division take, and if that's going to even come close to happening, this is a game you have to win. You cannot start off 0-3. It's in Indianapolis. I have to have Anthony Richardson bounce back, and if they're going to win, I imagine it's not going to be a 2-point game. All right, it has to be at least a 2-point game, not a 1-point game. Give me the Colts.
I will differ. I'll take the Bears. I liked what I saw out of Chicago's offense. Caleb Williams is due to throw a touchdown in this game. He just has to.
I would
hope. I think we'll get there. I'll take Chicago in that one to differ.
All right,
Houston, a road favorite as they travel to take on Minnesota and the upstart Sam Darnold. Do you want a Sam Darnold trend for this game that's not maybe good?
Let's hear it.
Houston is only a 2-point favorite, which is shocking. A little, because I think you're buying the Vikings. But you got to remember, Justin Jefferson banged up, and so is Jordan Addison. Sam Darnold, in his career, has played 7 games when he has won the prior 2. So when Sam Darnold's on a 2-game win streak, he has had 7 games.
Right, I'm following.
He's only 2-5, straight up and against the spread in those games. So basically, what's that telling you? Sam Darnold ain't good on getting to a 3-game streak win. We'll see. The Vikings are coming off a big win last week. Teams that face this is small, but still. Teams that face the 49ers win the following week. But the last 3 seasons, teams that beat the 49ers the following week are just 10-25 straight up. So what's that saying? Letdown game. You beat the 49ers, you're all jacked. You probably emptied your playbook. Teams after beating the 49ers over the last 3 years come back to a 10-25 straight up mark. That's where it is. CJ Stroud, 19 starts in his career. He is only 3-7 though as the favorite in this one. And again, favorited here, which is going to be a tough one. Houston riding an 0-5 straight up and against the spread streak against the Vikings. But going back to last year, Houston is a very solid 4-2 straight up on the road. But they're only 3-9-1 against the spread going back to last year when they play as the favorite. Minnesota coming in just 3-9 against the spread their last 12 games at home. Minnesota is 1-4 straight up in their last 5 games as the underdog. This is one of my favorite ones of the week.
Wow.
Houston all day.
Well, in that case, give me the Vikes.
Wow.
Give me the rolling Sam Darnolds to make more magic happen.
4 games, including last night. We've not had the same pick.
I got to make up some ground.
We've not had the same. Well, you're not going to make up ground on me.
Yeah, I do.
You don't got it. It's just the overall.
No, I'm
That's
out
overall.
To beat you. I'm out to beat you.
All right, we'll see how it goes.
Last year, I got to do it again.
All right, we'll see how it goes. Speaking of upstart teams, the New Orleans Saints welcoming in the Philadelphia Eagles. Saints a 2.5-point home favorite on this one. I got some savory ones. You ready for this?
Clint got those boys rolling.
Dude, they're rolling. How about this? Okay. Plus 60-point differential. And they are also the best team in football by expected points added, where the Eagles are bottom 10. Alvin Kamara, who's run all over this, you come in against the Eagles defense, they've allowed a league worst 6.5 yards per carry.
They cannot stop the run. Nope.
And you got Alvin Kamara? All right, we'll see.
Dude, I saw a stat. Alvin Kamara is averaging, I believe, almost damn near 5 yards a carry before contact.
Before contact.
That's nuts.
I saw this on a fantasy thing. I can't remember the stretch. I think it's got to be the last 7 years. Do you know who has the most weeks finished as the number 1 fantasy running back in the last 7 years? Kamara's got like 15. Christian McCaffrey's got like 9. It's like a gap of like the weeks that Alvin Kamara just feasts.
Yeah.
He seems to be back. And he's getting paid too. I don't know what they're doing with him down there, but he got to get paid. What you don't like in this one is the Eagles as dogs. Jalen Hurts in his last 5 games as an underdog is 1-4 against the spread. In his 10 last starts as an underdog, 2-8 straight up and 3-7 against the spread. Combined with Nick Sirianni, Hurts and Sirianni, 11 games as underdogs, just 4-7 against the spread there. But on the road, Hurts 11, 18-1 against the spread on a neutral site or on the road. Overall, in his last 9 starts, Jalen Hurts is just 1-8 against the spread, and the Eagles' true road games against the spread have lost 4 straight spread on the road going back to last year. You talk about the points. The Saints are the 3rd most points for any team in NFL history, in the Super Bowl era, through the first 2 games. They trailed the 1968 Raiders.
Dude, wait, I think I saw this morning.
Okay.
Isn't 2009 also the same?
Correct.
And that's
93
that's
points.
the year they won the Super Bowl.
Right. Through 2 games, the 68 Raiders scored 95 points. The 2009 Saints scored 93. Through 2 games, the Saints have 91 points.
Unreal.
91 points. Since 2008, the Saints have been a much better road team versus home team. That's not good for here. They are only 22-31 against the spread at home in that streak, while being 33-19 on the road. They are the best against the spread road team in that stretch. They're the 4th worst home team against the spread, though, in that same stretch. Buck some of those trends and maybe think about the Saints here. Philly 1-8 against the spread their last 9, 1-4 straight up. They do own the Saints, though, against the spread. Philly is 4-2 against the spread their last 6 games against New Orleans, but they're just 4-8 straight up. Philly has just won 1 of their last 6 games down there in New Orleans. Was it the Caesars Superdome or whatever the hell it's called?
Mercedes-Benz, I think.
No, that's Atlanta.
Oh, that's Atlanta. You're right.
That's Atlanta.
I think it is the Caesars.
I think it's Caesars. I think it is Caesars. Saints are 6-1 straight up in their last 7 home games. Their last 7 games overall, and 5-1 in their last 6 games at home.
Go ahead, pick them so I can pick the other one.
No, I can't do it to you. I'm going to take New Orleans.
No. Yes, I'm going to take New Orleans too. Now, I have an interesting question for you, Matt. What?
I don't like it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I want to take Philly.
Then do it. Then do it. Let's differ again.
Philly.
Okay, Matt, now I'm going to ask you this.
Philly.
Early on in the season.
You might take it back.
We're only heading into week 3.
Yep.
Fact or fiction, okay?
Yes.
Fact or fiction? After this season, Clint Kubiak will be the number 1 head coach hired. Like, in demand.
Fiction.
Okay.
Do you want to know
Are
why?
you still going to go Ben Johnson?
He's not going to be available. They're just going to hire him in New Orleans.
You think he's going to take Dennis
Now,
Allen?
the problem is, if they do really well, how are you going to fire Dennis Allen, right? But you know how I feel about Dennis Allen, okay? That might be one of those situations that this guy is so damn good that we can't let him leave. We'll give him the head coaching job.
Oh, I don't know.
He might not even hit the streets, man. He might not even hit interviews.
I don't know how you can do that.
How you going to let him leave?
I guess.
How can you let him leave? That might be what it has to be.
All right, so you're calling fiction.
Just saying, he might not even be available. Well, Baker Mayfield was available. The Bucs scooped him up, and look where they're at. They're 6.5-point favorites at home as they welcome in the Broncos and one Bo Nix. Sean Payton, though, in his career, is one of the worst coaches in weeks 1 and 2. But for his teams in week 3 and 4, he has combined 22-9-1 against the spread. That is the best NFL head coach in the last 20 years, including his teams going 11-5 against the spread, specifically in week 3. The Broncos are already 1-0 against the spread on the road this year. And in his first season last year, they were just 2-5-1 on the road. That was the 2nd worst season against the spread in Sean Payton's career on the road. So usually, again, he gets road warriors. They can go cover on the road. There's a lot of Drew Brees in his career, though, too. Bo Nix has 77 pass attempts so far in this season through 2 starts. That is the 3rd most in the NFL. And in fact, that is the 8th most pass attempts by a rookie quarterback in his first 2 starts since 1990. Rookies with 2 starts, 50-plus pass attempts, no touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Ryan Fitzpatrick in 05, Ryan Lindley in 12, Will Greer in 19, Dorian Thompson-Robinson from last year, and Bo Nix. Baker comes into this game starting his career in just 2-6 against the spread in the first 2 weeks of the season prior to getting to Tampa Bay. Since his time there, Ryan, he's not lost a game in that stretch. He is 4-0 straight up and against the spread in the first 2 weeks of the season. Now, Baker has 27 career games coming off of a win when he's listed in the underdog as the next game. He's not here, obviously. He's just 9-19 straight up, 5-4 with the Bucs. The Broncos coming back here to see Baker Mayfield as a favorite under Todd Bowles is 5-2 in his career there in Tampa Bay. Mayfield already covered as a favorite this year. He's looking to cover 2 in a row. Mayfield is 15-26-1 against the spread as a favorite in his career. That is a cover percentage of just 37, and he's the 3rd least profitable quarterback as a favorite in that stretch. Take that for what it is. I think it's a different time down there. Now, the thing is, it's a big 6.5-point spread here.
Yep.
I'll take the Bucs. They're at home. It's a big number, but I'll take them.
Yeah, I can't bet on the Broncos until I see them score a touchdown.
Yeah, that'd be nice, too. Here's an intriguing one if Jordan Love is going to play in this game.
He's been practicing.
He's been practicing. They say there's a chance, and this could flip. I am actually pretty shocked that the Titans, even with everything going on, are 2.5-point favorites over the Packers. Now, we know what the Packers did last week. They ran the football. They got after it. Malik Willis just kind of doing what he did. And then you've got Will Levis, who, again, arguably they could have won that game without his stupid turnovers. And I'm sure Brian Callahan got in his face and figured all that out. But this is an intriguing one. So we come into this one. Will Levis has made 11 starts in his NFL career. First half against the spread, he's 8-3. But the problem is the second half where he is just 1-10. He doesn't close games late. Packers are 1-1 straight up and against the spread as dogs this year. Matt LaFleur in his career, 23-11 against the spread as an underdog. That is the best percentage for a coach in the Super Bowl era. First 3 weeks of the regular season, Matt LaFleur is 14-3 against the spread. As the Packers coach, if he wins and covers this Sunday, he would be the most profitable coach weeks 1 through 3 in the last 20 years. Here's how backups, so you talk about backups with Malik Willis, if he gets to start. Here we go. Backup quarterbacks making their second start for a team, how they've performed recently. Since 2022, backups are just 29, 57-1 straight up. 45-40-2 against the spread in their first start. So again, not good. Their second start, though, they are 24-22 against the spread. So what's that telling you? Backups get better in the second game against cover. Now, this would just be a straight-up win unless they get Jordan Love back. Green Bay has covered all 5 of their week 3 games the last 5 years. Give me the Packers.
It's good for Malik Willis or bad for Malik Willis if he does play? The fact that it's back in Tennessee.
That's a good point. I mean, you want to
stick it to him?
I wonder about Tennessee if there's a little fallout from that Brian Callahan, yelling at Will Levis that way. Like, I know he's always got to handle it and he's an adult and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to take Green Bay in that one. I like that pick there.
Yeah, I'm not loving what I'm seeing on the Titans.
All right, fair enough. 5 for the Raiders at Allegiant Stadium as they welcome in Andy Dalton and crew and the Carolina Panthers. They make this move this week. Can they get a little going out there against Gardner Minshew and crew? The Raiders and Bucs both won as 7-point underdogs last week and now are both favored by 5. teams to have that flip within the first week of the season are 8-0 straight up and 5-2-1 against the spread in the wild card era. So that helps our Bucks picks. Oh, I'm sorry. Who did you take? You took Green Bay, right?
I took Green Bay. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't write that down. I'm sorry. Back to the Raiders and the Panthers. So it tells you this is good for the Raiders. They've been bad as the favorites, though. As a favorite of more than 4 points in the last 20 years, the Raiders are just 6-17. They have not been favored by that much since 2022. It's going to be Bryce Young. They're going to Andy Dalton here. If you look over the last 3 seasons, Andy Dalton has 500 total plays at quarterback. Of that stretch, Andy Dalton is 21st in EPA and COE, whatever this is. And basically, the stats showing Andy Dalton's not bad. In his career, he is 83, 77, and 6 against the spread. But he's been 500 or worse against the spread each of his last 6 seasons, and he's 5-9 against the spread as a dog. I got stats on there like yards per play, but I think it's going to get better with Andy Dalton, so I really don't want to get into that. Raiders at home in Vegas, they're 17-17 straight up, 19-14-1. Antonio Pierce is 8-2-1 against the spread with the Raiders. That's the best against the win spread percentage for a coach in the Raiders in the wild card era since 1990. And that is also the best stretch since he took that job over in week 9 of last year. It's 5 for the Raiders. I'll let you go first here.
Yeah, I guess this week we'll get our first little pieces of evidence if Bryce Young is really the problem, which I don't think is the case. I think Andy Dalton's competent. I don't expect the offense to just all of a sudden come out humming. But then again, look at the Raiders. Do they get a little hangover from that high of beating the Ravens?
I think so.
Is Antonio Pierce the type of coach that avoids that for his team?
What you got to remember is it's 5.
It's a lot of points.
I like Carolina to get under it.
I'll go Vegas.
You want to go Vegas?
I'll go Vegas.
I think the Raiders are going to win, but it might only be by a field goal.
All right.
So I like Carolina in that one. What should have been a marquee matchup, maybe not so much. Dolphins taking the long trip up to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. No Tua, Skylar Thompson in this one. Geno Smith and crew at home waiting for him. Geno Smith has played like a top quarterback this year. 7th best in the NFL in EPA per play. A 4th best success rate in the season. And also, DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith-Njigba, they are some of the best. Actually, they're only trailing Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams as 2 teammates that have 18 or more targets through 2 games. So they're slinging it all around right there. And they got a win last week without Kenneth Walker. Now, the problem is it doesn't sound like Walker is going to play this week. Seattle, historically without Walker, not good. They are just 5-9 straight up when he either doesn't play or gets fewer than 10 carries. As a favorite of 3 points or more in his career, 4.5 here for Geno Smith, he is 15-5 straight up, including 10-5 at home with a mark like that. And he's closed 5 points or better 6 times in his career. He's won all 6 of those games. Again, this is so hard because how can you read into Skylar Thompson and what they're going to be with this Dolphins team? So I really don't have much on that. I got to take Seattle in this one.
What's
minus
the spread?
Minus 4.5.
I will also take Seattle.
I think, not to sway you here,
No,
the other thing about Miami is there's an emotional side of this. And all week it's been Tua should retire and Tua should this and Tua. Now, can they rally and try to go out there and sure, but they're missing some of their running backs. Like, is Raheem Mostert, is he going to be back? I think Jeff Wilson's going to be out. They still have Devon Achane, but he's battling injury. And I don't trust that defense enough to be able to shut down DK and Jackson Smith.
No, not at all.
I think it's all Seattle.
What a crazy world we live in 2 weeks through the season where the Saints look like the best team in the NFC, and probably the 4 quarterbacks playing the best football right now: Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, and Derek Carr.
Yeah,
Who would have ever thought that?
Yeah, I like that a lot. What could be one of the higher scoring games as the over-under set at 52.5 for the Lions taking on the Cardinals. And this is a Lions I have one, two. Actually, it's interesting. I have 4 straight games here of road favorite, home dogs. Cards are a home 3-point dog. Welcome in Jared Goff and the crew. Of course, the Lions, a little bit of a slip up there. For the Cardinals, maybe a restart to them with Marvin Harrison and crew. Fall week 1, they get back on track week 2. Let's see how it goes. Cardinals are home dogs after scoring 40 points in their previous game. Only 2 teams since 2010 in the month of September have been home dogs after scoring 40 points in their previous game.
Stats just
and don't you like what I pull here? Dude, shout out to Action Network and our guy Evan Abrams. So do you get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I follow.
Home dog when you scored 40 or more their previous game. The Dolphins and Bills in 2022, the Buccaneers and Eagles in 2018, both those teams won. So that's telling you like the Cardinals here. You're talking about the over-under. Over the last 2 seasons, totals of 50 or more are 13-2 to the under. The last 3 years, point totals at all over 50 are 30-11 to the under by an average of 5.5 points. So that would tell you probably run the under here. Lions have won 8 consecutive games against the spread after a straight-up loss going back to November of 2022. So it tells you they should bounce back. Goff is 17-8 against the spread with the Lions after a loss. Dating back to last season, the Cardinals have covered the spread in 4 straight games. That's their longest streak since 2021. Goff indoor versus outdoor. Indoor, he is 36-18 against the spread, and he's an even 500 outdoor. They're back indoors, obviously, there. 3 for the Lions on the road. What do you like?
I just talked about the quarterbacks playing the best football, and I probably should have included Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Jared Goff worries me. I don't necessarily think he lost in the game last week. Lions defense is still very good. This might be the hardest one to pick for me.
This is a hard game. Hard game.
I suppose if I'm struggling, I'll go with the trends. So
Detroit is 4-1 against the spread. Their last 5 games against the Cardinals, they are 4-0-1 straight up, and they are 5-1 against the spread. Their last 6 games on the road.
I'll go Cardinals.
I'm gonna go Cards. I'll differ. I'll take the Lions on that one. I'll take the Lions. Ravens taking on Jerry Jones, Dak Prescott and the crew at AT&T Stadium. Tom Brady on the call. Here we go. Ravens just a 1-point favorite in this one, and they need a win bad. Dallas coming in with a shocking 1-1 record as well. Right? What? Yeah, Ravens are 0-2.
Yes.
Cowboys are 1-1.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I thought. The records are not updated here on the
correct.
one site.
Correct.
On the one site that I'm on here. So you talk about offense. Baltimore coming in with the 14th best expected yards per play compared to just Dallas's 29th. I know CeeDee Lamb was banged up this week. You don't really have to worry he's supposed to play. The other thing is Baltimore's rushing attack, where they still have Derrick Henry. They're getting carries for Justice Hill. They're going up against Cowboys team that is allowing 141.5 rushing yards per game on 5 yards per carry.
Yep.
This is just the 5th time in the Ravens' 29-year existence that they've started the season 0-2. The previous 4 instances, they didn't make the playoffs. They fought 0-2 for the first time since 2015. This is also the last time that a 1 seed from the previous year started 0-2. Since 2020, the Ravens have 8 home losses after leading by 10 points at any point in the game, 3 more than any team. Jackson is 22-7 against the spread as a favorite of 3 points or less or an underdog. So he plays well as a dog or a close game. He's 23-33 when he's favored by more than 3 points. Lamar was 4-0 against the spread last year after a straight-up loss. Cowboys come in. They've lost 3 straight home games against the spread. They've not lost 4 straight in that since 2020. Mike McCarthy is at a 57% cover following a straight-up loss. And specifically in the month of September, McCarthy is 9-5-1 against the spread, covering by an average of 4.5 points following a loss. Dak Prescott, though, beats up on his own division. He is 29-11 in his career against the NFC East. He's just 37-44-2 against every other division. One for the Ravens on the road.
Yep.
I'm leaning one way.
So am I.
Baltimore.
Yep. I mean, if you're looking at 1 point, it's essentially a pick 'em, right? How about this, Matt? Do you know Lamar Jackson's record versus the NFC?
No.
In his career, he is 20-3 against NFC teams. That's all I need to hear.
Woo!
Give me the Ravens.
All right, biggest spread of the, tied for the biggest spread of the weekend. It's the 49ers, a 6.5-point road favorite. It's a short trip from there to LA to take on Matt Stafford and the Rams. Is anybody left to play for the Rams? Have they followed anybody in this one? In anyone? The Rams had the worst loss of week 2, losing by 31 points to the Cardinals. In the last 20 years, teams to lose by 30 points and then be underdogs or 4 and more in their next game cover at a 64% chance. But I don't know if I like this one. Home divisional underdogs in the first 4 games of the regular season cover at a 61% rate over the last 20 years. Brock Purdy in his NFL career is now 22-7, with 2 of those 7 losses coming to the Vikings. The Rams have allowed a whopping 9.86 yards per attempt on defense. That's the highest in the NFL, with Jared Goff and then Kyler Murray carving them up. Can Brock Purdy do it again? Matt Stafford in his career, he is only 3-7 against the spread in 10 games against the 49ers, including 1-6 straight up. Sean McVay is just 5-10 against the spread against the 49ers in his career. That is the least profitable opponent for Sean McVay in his career. Everything leans 49ers here. It's got to be, right?
I think
6.5.
But when you got Shanahan versus McVay, dude, anything can happen. And I understand how beat up the Rams are, but if anybody can make chicken out of, or make what's your favorite thing? Make chicken salad out of
chicken blank. Yep.
I think it's Sean McVay.
Well,
now,
then
I remember the Rams do play the 49ers pretty well. I mean, historically.
Well, and let's talk about the 49ers. McCaffrey out.
No Debo.
Debo's out.
Yep. And Kittle is popped up on the injury report.
This is dirty. Dirty.
Can Brock Purdy elevate him without his
If
pieces?
it was 3.5, slamming the 49ers. It ain't, though. It's 6.5. This is dirty. Dirty spice here. I'm going to stick with my gun. I'm going to go with the 49ers. Brian.
In spirit of us being heavily differed this week, I suppose I'll continue that trend. Give me the Rams.
L.A. Rams.
Don't love it, though.
I don't love it either. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And the Monday night game is 15. Why am I missing a game again?
We haven't done the Sunday night one yet.
No, that's the last one, but I just count up plus the Browns. What game did we miss? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 is Monday night that we'll do. Why am I missing a game?
We're not missing one. Oh, I'll tell you why. There's 2 Monday night games this week.
That's why.
Jags, Bills,
That's
7:30.
right. That's
Commanders,
exactly
Bengals,
right. So we'll get to that.
I didn't know that.
I remember. That's right. That's right. I'm not crazy. I thought I was, but I'm not.
2 games this week.
All right, Sunday night. Chiefs taking on the Falcons down there at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Chiefs a 3-point road favorite. Here we go. Can primetime Kirko do it again? 42 games that Kirk Cousins has played in primetime. He is 18, 23-1 straight up, and just 17-25 against the spread, though. So I thought that'd be more. I thought it'd be better. Cousins is 8-3 straight up in primetime in his last 11 starts, but he's only 3-6 against the spread in his last 9 primetime games. As far as the underdog in a primetime game, that is 22 times Cousins has done that. His teams are just 6-15-1 straight up and 9-13 against the spread as a dog in a night game. The under seems to play 8 straight starts by Kirk Cousins. The under has hit there. So we'll see on that one. At home, Cousins is 11-20 against the spread. Again, I know not all there in Atlanta. He is the least profitable quarterback since 2022 at home, and that includes just a 4-4 against the spread as a home dog in that stretch. Patrick Mahomes owns September. He is 17-4 straight up and 12-9 against the spread in his career in September. That 17-4 straight up mark, best month for Patrick Mahomes in his career. As far as the favorite of a field goal or more in his career, Mahomes is just 38, 43-2 in covering. That's only a 47% cover rate when he's favored by 3 or more points. He owns the NFC, though. He is 23-6 straight up against NFC teams, but he's only 6-6 in primetime games against NFC teams in primetime games. Okay. Do you want a Taylor Swift trend?
Oh, you know what? Yeah.
In games that Taylor Swift attends, the
So
Chiefs
is she
are.
gonna be there?
I'm assuming so. It's Monday night or Sunday Night Football. I think they need her there. Chiefs are 12-3 straight up, 9-5-1 against the spread in the games that she attends since the start of last year. Take that for what it is. 3 for the Chiefs on the road. I think this is KC. I know Falcons are getting better. That was a luck box freaking win by Nick Sirianni being an idiot. KC.
Well, you know what? Let's just continue this trend all the way out, man. I'm going to go the Falcons. I think you're losing Pacheco. That's going to hurt them. I mean, you got proof of concept with Kirk Cousins. I think that offense will hopefully use that as some momentum and start clicking. You get the typical 3-point home favorite. I'll say it's by a field goal. I'll take the Falcons to cover.
All right, there it is. What do you want to do? Do you want to break and then we'll just motor through? Morning update, grid, Ohio State, Guardians, time hop, bracket.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's go to break. You want to break?
Yeah,
do we have
break.
time? Do we have time? It's 27. We got
up
time.
to you, dude.
All right, let's take a break. We come back. Literally too much stuff for half an hour. Stay with us. Fontana Show right here in Big Play.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like ass. I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer.
Well, how do they know I'm doing this? Did somebody leak this out?
It's social media.
Oh.
It's just, that's the way social media works now.
I thought maybe you were just running that yep.
Even though our strength of schedule is number 1 in the NFL, I think we have the dogs up front. We have the dogs in the back as it relates to our defense. Our defense alone keeps us in these games. Not even talking about offense. Let's just say Deshaun Watson isn't there. We got dogs on the defensive side that's mirroring the potential of the Ravens from 2001 or 2000 Ravens with Jamal Lewis and the boys and Ray Lewis and those guys.
Right.
They won, again, no disrespect to Trent Dilfer, but they won without a high-powered offense.
I don't buy into this nonsense, this conspiracy nonsense that he's got his money and he's dogging it. That's ridiculous.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby as Authentic takes them around the far turn. Tis the Laws making his move now, and they're into two, stride for stride. Authentic takes them all. Here's the wire. Authentic has won the Kentucky
Let's get to a lot coming up. We'll get the morning update. We got the grid. We'll get to time up. We got Ohio State. We got the Guardians. And we will wrap it up with our Browns pick and our bracket of the week. Welcome back, Fontana Show. Right here on Big Play. You can always follow us on Twitter, X, at Matt Fontana Show. We're up on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitch. We got it all for you, including the stories you got to know for your Friday. Ryan, take it away.
Alrighty, well, the Guardians are officially going dancing.
Let's
They popped
go.
the champagne after clinching a playoff berth. They beat the Twins 3-2 in extra innings. Jimenez walk-off single. That's all she wrote. Guardians already back in action today, taking on the Cardinals. Ben Lively on the mound.
Yeah, I mean, again, we'll get to our play a little bit later. I like the Guards to win this. You still got to get the Central. You still got to be focused, get after it to clinch out the Central. Don't worry. I want the bye. So there's still work to be done. And you also, if you get the bye, the importance of these guys getting at bats and pitching some innings, knowing they're going to be off for a little while. And I know they'll play a sim game and all that, but it's not going to be like you can just coast on out here. I think you still got vitally important games. You're in St. Louis tonight. Kyle Gibson's on the hill for them. We'll get to it coming up, but love where the Guardians are at. So happy they clinched. I'm sure they enjoyed it. I'm sure they were a little slow waking up this morning out there in St. Louis.
Oh, I'm sure they were.
A little bit.
Alrighty, well, Shohei Ohtani
Dude.
continues to make history. He becomes the first player ever to join the 50-50 club. That's 50 home runs, 50 stolen bases in a season. He did it in what some people are calling the greatest single performance in one game in history, man.
So
3 home runs, 2 stolen bases, 10 RBIs.
So then the total bases, too, because he's on the list now of the most total bases for a single game. And of the top 8, he's the only one that didn't do it with 4 home runs. Everybody else hit 4, so I had that as a little mark. You know the most interesting thing I found about that game? They were marking the baseballs. So when somebody caught it, they could future authenticate it. You remember this battle when you would catch a ball and they would say, if you don't give it to us to authenticate and you leave, we're not going to do it. Baseball, smartly, I think, coming around and saying, we want that ball back. So we better, they marked all the balls that Shohei put in play. They know which one was the 50th home run.
I saw the fan walk away
Oh, it was
with
like
it.
a mosh pit
I
to
saw the
catch
fan walked away with it.
Yeah, he did. He left.
Yeah.
He left. So now he knows he's got it.
That's crazy.
Who do you sell it to? You know, who's the first call that you make? And then Darren Rovell's new company had a great tweet. What would you rather have? The ball,
Yep.
the bat, Shohei's jersey, or the 50th stolen base?
Jersey.
I said the bat.
Yeah.
I said the bat.
I feel like the jersey's just a collectible.
Because the jersey kind of does it all. The base is just the
I think
base,
of that,
and
I
the
think
bat
of
and
that
the
Babe
ball.
Ruth jersey that just went bonkers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, trust me. And Shohei's, they got everything except the ball, which I'm sure they'll chase this guy down. What do you think that's going to be worth?
A cool $5 million.
Hang on. I don't think that much?
I mean, well, that's true. I don't know. Are you viewing this as the greatest single game performance ever?
50th home run.
In that case, I don't see why not.
This was for NBC Universal. They said it could get up to $500,000.
Oh, I thought it'd be a lot more.
Let me see. CBS Sports. Okay. The fan who caught the ball reportedly took it home rather than stayed to try to negotiate with the Dodgers. Aaron Judge's 62nd home run ball sold for $1.5 million.
So how is that more?
Mark McGwire's 70th home run ball sold for $300 million.
$300 million?
I'm sorry, $3 million. $3 million. I'm sorry, $3 million. Yeah, I mean, Okay, this is from 24/7 Sports. They put a price on it. See, now Yahoo said it's only worth $200,000.
Well, who do you trust?
I don't know. I ain't paying. So what you want to do is get it to all. The problem is that the team is going to come to you and say, we want it. We want to put it in the Hall of Fame. You should really give that to Shohei. Now, the question is, let's say it's $200,000, okay? Could you get enough stuff from Shohei to equal that value? You know? Like, could you get him to sign? I don't know. Like, that's where... You know, and if you call other people to help you, they're going to want a piece of the pie. I guess if I was that guy and I caught it, I'm just going to call an auction house and go, put this up. If they want it, they can buy it. You know, damn your bats and damn your season tickets and damn your signed jerseys and all that other kind of stuff. I'm getting the most amount of cash I can. You'll do that at an auction. So we'll see what that guy gets for it.
Alrighty, well, news broke this morning from the NBA. Joel Embiid and the 76ers have agreed to a 3-year, $192.9 million maximum contract extension that guarantees the former MVP a total of just shy of $300 million through the 28-29 season. Embiid said, quote, Philadelphia's home. I want to be here for the rest of my career. There's a lot more work to do. You guys deserve a championship, and I think we're just getting started.
All right. I mean, hey, man, you're going to take that. He's going to become one of the highest paid players ever. Like, you do that. These deals in basketball are getting nuts still, man. These are going to be what they're going to do in Supermax and all that. I mean, you're getting with, NFL quarterbacks to a point, but basketball is the sport to be playing right now, man. That is nuts to see that deal. But again, for Joel Embiid, good for him. He's probably worth it.
Alrighty, last year for the morning update, Aaron Rodgers throws his first touchdown in MetLife Stadium as a member of the New York Giants en route of their 24-3 victory over the Patriots, Matt. Aaron Rodgers goes 281, 2 tugs. Jacoby Brissett just 98 yards through the air.
Yeah, that game was just come back down to earth for the Patriots, but also, the Jets wanted to shove it up their butts because they've been the Patriots have smoked them for so long. I know it's not the same Patriots team anymore, and I know the Jets were hurt last year. That's why I felt good about the Jets doing that, because I felt like they wanted to make a statement and run it up, and they borderline did. So, well done for them. That was a cover for me last night. We like it.
All right, you want to rip through the bad boy quick?
Let's do the grid. Let's try. Got to get to it next week as well. Next week's the big one.
Washington again.
Washington. All right, let's go. Go.
All right, 5,000 career rushing yards, Washington.
I would assume John Riggins.
I don't even know who that is.
Way back in the day.
All right, very good.
Yep.
Bengals, who do you want? We just go Joe Mixon.
Yeah. I was thinking like Rudy Johnson, but yeah, Joe Mixon's
Rams, pick your poison. Eric Dickerson?
Sure.
Did he ever play for the Saints or Pats?
Not that I can remember.
And he definitely, I'm not making that up, right?
Nope. Good job. All right.
Speaking of Jacoby.
I want to say Jimmy Garoppolo, but that's not right. Jimmy Garoppolo has not played a game for the Rams.
Did Andy Dalton played for the Saints, correct?
Yes, he did.
So we can
But so did like Eli Apple, Von Bell, but...
Can we think of one?
No, did Andy Dalton ever play for the Patriots?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so just go Andy Dalton and the Saints. That's
all right.
What?
No.
He just got there. Lawrence Guy.
I was going to say Andrew Whitworth. He didn't play for Patriots, did he?
No, he played Bengals, Rams, but he never played for the Patriots.
Okay. Carson Palmer never played for the Patriots?
Good pull, but no.
Marvin Jones, no.
Hayden Hurst didn't. Again, Lawrence Guy.
But you know who had? Did Mike Gesicki not play for the Patriots?
He did.
Right?
He did. He's there last year. You're right. Good call.
And he played for the...
He's played this week. Yeah. He's playing this. Yeah, he's played 2 weeks now. So there you go. All right, Washington and the Saints. Washington Saints. There's got to be a legacy one that we're missing there. I can't really think about it.
Has Deshaun Jackson didn't play for the Saints, did he?
I don't think so. Let's come back to that one. I don't like that one for some reason. All right, Rams Saints. Why am I thinking of like a pass rusher? Rams, Saints, Rams, Patriots. Again, Jimmy G doesn't count because he just got there and he's been suspended.
Rams, Patriots. Is that
Nick Foles? No.
Did Leonard Fournette play for the Patriots?
I don't think so.
Robert Woods, no.
I'd like to say yes, but no.
Allen Robinson, no. Is there a quarterback we're just sleeping on?
That's what I'm trying to think.
Well, Jimmy Garoppolo, did he play for the Rams?
That's what I'm saying. He's not played there yet. He's there now, but he's suspended, so he's not played a game yet. So that would work, but it doesn't. Brian Hoyer never played for the Rams.
Von Miller never played for the
Von
Patriots.
Miller never went to the Patriots.
Vince
Chandler
Wilfork.
Jones didn't go to the Rams. Eric Weddle never played for.
What about one of the?
I don't know if he played for the Rams. I can't remember.
Stephon Gilmore didn't play for the Rams, did he?
I don't think so.
What about one of the McCourty twins?
No. Good pull. Kickers. Not thinking much. Man. Okay. All right.
Did Drew Bledsoe ever play for the Rams?
I don't think so.
I mean, Julian Edelman.
Did he Testaverde?
Danny Amendola.
Yeah, I don't think Danny Amendola. Wes Welker, don't think so.
Randy Moss, no.
No. Oh, man. I mean, it's hard because, like, the week's already fried, but it's like, I'd like to finish it out, man.
I mean, who are the Patriots running backs we've seen? Zeke didn't play for the Rams.
Yeah, Ramondre Stevenson's always been there. James White back in the day.
Damian Harris? Did he play from the Rams?
I don't know.
He got traded somewhere.
James White back in the day. I don't.
Oh, I forgot about James White.
Yeah.
He's a dog.
He is pretty good.
Danny Woodhead? No.
No, Austin Hooper never played for the Rams, right? No. He's there now. Shoot. DBs, I can't think of any. Dude, tough one for us. I thought about Washington the Saints. Is that not Joey Sly?
I know he kicked for Washington.
Yeah, I think he kicked. Did he not kick for the Saints?
Maybe.
I mean, at this point, yeah, whatever. Probably not. It's all good. All good. Tough one for us. I mean, the week was already cooked. We'll get back after it next week. All right, you want to rip through a quick time hop, and then we'll get to our plays for the weekend?
I think that is a wonderful idea.
Let's do it. All right, we head back here on the 20th of September, including 1 year ago today. The Browns signed Kareem Hunt. Of course, there was the report out this same day that Nick Chubb was going to need multiple surgeries on his injured knee. Hunt helped save our season last year, man. You don't make the playoffs without Kareem Hunt last year, so they signed him 1 year ago today. 2 years ago today, ESPN put out their list of top 100 NBA players. Cavaliers on the list. Kevin Love was 97. Karis LeVert was 80. At 52 was Jared Allen. Darius Garland was 46. And Evan Mobley was 36. And, of course, Donovan Mitchell would make the top 25. They hadn't released the top 25 yet, but he'll make it there. I would imagine this year, certainly Mitchell. Does Garland make the top 100?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Allen will. Mobley probably should. And that might be it.
From the NFL, like there's not that many teams.
No, there's not that many teams,
like
and they're all
players,
kind of,
I mean.
player, positions aren't as divided. keep trying to compare a lineman to a
after
quarterback.
last season, you got to be able to name 100 players that were better.
But that's crazy that you might only have 3 guys on this team that are going to be in the top 100 when that comes back out. So we'll see. This day, 2020, Adam Schefter report that the Browns planning to trade Odell Beckham were totally not true. What would he last? 1 more year and then they get rid of him? Never really worked here, man. I don't know what to tell you. You know what worked? The fridge is opening this day, 2018 Thursday Night Football. We beat the Jets 21-17. We end a winless streak of 635 days. Baker with the Philly special reverse touchdown. Sir. The fridge is unlocked, and what a glorious night that was. That was an electric night. That was so much fun. We had the alternate uniforms on.
Yeah, man.
I still have that. So they, in the press box, they had a fridge. And they opened it, and they passed out beer to all the media people. It was the only time I ever had a beer in the press box. I drank it. I took another one. I think I gave it to my brother-in-law. And then I emptied the can out, and I still have the can sitting in my basement from that fridge. So that's where we're at. This day, 2015, I remember this game, too. Browns beat the Titans 28-14. Johnny Manziel threw for 2 touchdowns, but Travis Benjamin had a reception and a punt return touchdown. We beat the Titans 28-14 this day, 2015. This day, 1998. One of the greatest streaks in sports, although some people think it's a little overrated, a little bush league. But this day, 1998, Cal Ripken takes himself out of the lineup, ending his streak of 2,632 straight games. He went from May 30th, 1982 to September 20th, 1998, not missing a single game.
Didn't he come out early though?
Well, he would come out of games early, yeah. So he would start. Those were consecutive games played and started. But yeah, he would. And again, that's why some people think the streak eventually just became, eventually, we'll get to this a little bit later, jump the shark about it was over. Ripken said it was time to end it and all that kind of stuff. The funny thing is when they went to this rookie kid that said he was starting at third, they thought he was kidding. Yeah. Like, oh, good one. Sure. And they're like, no, actually, you really are. He's done. You don't want to do it anymore. This day, 1987, Walter Payton breaks Jim Brown's record of 107 rushing touchdowns. Who has the record now at 164? It's not Walter Payton.
It's got to be Emmett.
It is Emmitt Smith. 164 for Emmitt Smith. Do you know about the Battle of the Sexes?
Is that tennis?
Yes.
Billie Jean King and
Bobby Riggs. Riggs at age 55.
Didn't he get his butt whooped?
He said, I could beat any female tennis player. Billie Jean beat him in straight sets.
Yep.
The Battle of the Sexes this day, 1973. I mentioned jumping the shark. Do you know the reference of jumping the shark? Do you know what that means? It's okay,
Is that like a metaphor, or there's an actual
metaphor.
Event?
Well, it was an actual event, because here's what happened.
Is that Evel Knievel?
No. This day, 1970, on the show Happy Days, Fonzie jumped over a shark. I remember the episode. They were on vacation, and there was some challenge or whatever that Fonzie in a leather jacket jumped the shark. That has now made the reference when something has become stupid. When you hear somebody say, it's jumped the shark, what that meant was Happy Days was over, and they had to come up with something so ridiculously stupid to try to keep the show going that it jumped the shark.
Gotcha.
And that's where you now get that reference.
I didn't know that.
So if our show ever jumps the shark, that means it's already pretty stupid, but it's over, it's dead, it's time for it to go away. That's what you get, jumped the shark. Very happy birthday goes out to Carlos Hyde, Red Auerbach, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Grant Delpit, John Bernthal, Gary Cole, and Sophia Loren. Only one TV show for you today. This day, 1991. It's a show surrounding a mixed family. It's one of the first shows in the 90s to deal with a, you know what it means with a mixed family? It's like divorce and all. No, divorce. No, close. You're right. Brady Bunch, right, but not this one. 1991. You might not get it. It's a tough one.
You think so?
Yeah. I know it as a 90s kid. I don't know if you would know it, though.
Can I get an actor?
Suzanne Summers, R.I.P.
Yeah, I don't even know who that is.
Have you ever heard of Step by Step?
No.
No, Step by Step. Patrick Duffy, Suzanne Summers. She had 3 kids. He had 3 kids. They blend together. That was basically the TV show. And there it is. All right, let's get to it. We start with the guards. Let's go. They are tonight, 8 o'clock out there in St. Louis. St. Louis, they're done. They're 7 games back of the wild card, so they ain't making it. They send Kyle Gibson to the hill. Gibson in his last 5 starts, the Cardinals are 3-2, and you take out a game when he got smoked by the Padres and gave up 7 runs. They're 3-1, and he's only given up 4 runs in those 4 other starts. He's averaging about 2.5 strikeouts. I'm sorry, 4.5 strikeouts over his last 5 games. You flip it over for Ben Lively. The Guardians are 4-1 in his last 5 starts.
Yeah, you were a little taken aback by that.
I was taken aback by that. Now, he didn't win all 5 of those starts.
Right.
But they've covered at least a run and a half in all 4 of those wins. The only loss was he gave up 4 runs to the Royals. And don't forget, too, he had that short outing when he got aced by that line drive against the White Sox. Last time out, 5 innings, 4 hits, no runs against the Rays, but he's only averaging 3 strikeouts over his last 5 starts there. As far as St. Louis goes, they just took 3 out of 4 from the Pirates, but before that, they got swept by Toronto. Over-under for them, 2-8 in their last 5. And you flip it over for Cleveland, 2-7-1 in their last 10. So the under seems to be a good bet for tonight at 8, at an even 8. I'm just going to take the Guardians to win. Their magic number is still there. There might be a little hangover from them.
I would imagine
from today,
literally.
but
quite literally.
Yeah, it's quite literally might be it. All right, we flip over to a little bit of Ohio State Buckeyes back in action as they take on Marshall. This game, I saw it near 40. What do you got here? I've got it at an even 40. So take that for what it is. Let me get you some trends on this one. What time is that game tomorrow? In like
noon.
3. Is it noon? I thought it was like a 3:30.
Noon on Fox.
Oh, I got it. They might have to put up with Gus Johnson in this game. I can't stand Gus anymore, man. I just can't do it. I don't know, something about it. 40 for Ohio State. Marshall 1-1 coming in on the season. I'm just going to take the Buckeyes minus 40. I mean, it's just pretty much where I'm at in this. Let's see what we got here. Scrolling on through. Marshall just 4-8 against the spread their last 12. They're 0-6 straight up their last 6 games on the road. Yeah, that's it. Ohio State 13-2 straight up, 8-0 straight up in their last 8 games at home. 6-1 against the spread their last 7 games at home on a Saturday.
You're not feeling a herd upset?
No. All the biscuits and everything just ain't doing it for me.
Fair enough.
That's where we're at. All right, Ryan. Final one. Browns. Giants.
Yes.
Browns.
This will be the first week of the season I take the Browns to win.
Browns.
Any score predictions?
I'll go 24-10.
I'll go 26 13.
I like that pick there. All right, some trends for you regardless. I know you want to go. Listen, we ran through it earlier with the Friday report card. I think everything lines up for the Browns in this game. They have some very easy opportunities to take advantage of some things, especially on our defense versus their offense. But I like where Deshaun Watson's going to be at in this game as well. Really, I'm looking at the backside of the backfield to create some stuff, and I still like that Jordan Akins touchdown here, but we'll see. Deshaun Watson coming in an even 34-2 against the spread in his career. What he's not been able to do is do it well as a favorite. In his career, Deshaun Watson is only 14-20-2 against the spread. Watson's a little bit better when it's a higher spread. Any spread in his career that's over a field goal, which is at 6.5, he is 10-15-1 against the spread as a favorite. Dating back to the 2023 playoffs, Daniel Jones has lost 9 consecutive against the spread covers. His last one coming against the Vikings in January of 2023. So they've not been all good. Kevin Stefanski is 4-0 against the spread in week 3. All 4 games at home, and the Browns average winning those games by 12 points.
Wow.
In his career under Kevin Stefanski, he is just 8-16 against the spread against the AFC North. But against non-AFC North opponents, Stefanski is 26-20-1. against the spread. Anybody else outside of the Ravens, the Bengals, and the Steelers. Giants have been blown out in back-to-back season openers and now lost week 2 to the Commanders. They're the first team since the 2019 Browns to lose back-to-back openers by 20 points and then the 6th since 2000. Danny Dimes, as we know, 21-15 against in his career against the spread following a loss. But in that same spot since the start of last season following a loss, he's 1-4 straight up and 0-5 against the spread. Yeah, we both take the Browns in this one. It's a big one, but we like them both here. Minus that 6.5. Great stuff. Final thing for us, our bracket of the week. Best
Wasn't
villain.
even close, Matt.
Darth Vader.
It was Darth
Yeah,
Vader.
I saw it earlier. Yeah, well done. Darth
48% of the vote.
There it is.
Although people are not happy because apparently Darth Vader's not a villain.
Cody was driving that. I don't know why. I don't get where he's coming from and all that, but it is what it is. All right, great stuff with everybody. Appreciate you joining us today. Don't forget this weekend, the brand new Big Play Tailgate show that you can watch leading up to the game. It's Tony Zarella, Chuck Booms, Bob Golick. They'll be in here to record that today, actually, and it'll be up and live. All of our shows on the Big Play app. Bobby Carpenter coming up today. You can always get the replay of our show on Twitter X, also up on YouTube, and, of course, the brand new Big Play app. Appreciate everybody joining us. Always appreciate your support. Get it done. Guards, Buckeyes, and Browns. What a little 3-leg parlay on all 3 of those guys. Just to win. Probably wouldn't be very much. Ohio State's a giant favorite. Can I even take them money line? Probably not.
I doubt it.
Probably not. Probably not.
Might give you an extra couple pennies.
Probably not. But it is what it is. Enjoy the hell out of the weekend. Your playoff baseball team. Let's get it done. For Ryan Tyler, I am Matt Fontana. As always, take it easy.